Welcome to this week's edition of the Casual Shooters Podcast. This week you have me, Dave, and Chris.
Hey.
Hopefully, Leo will join us midstream. And again, this week we have a guest. This week, our guest is Logan Saunders. You may know him better as 357 Souls on Instagram. You may even know him better by some of his memes. Anyway, let me go ahead and bring him on in. Hey, Logan.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Why don't you go ahead and take a minute and introduce yourself?
My name is Logan. I run a Instagram meme lord page, 357 Souls. I have a background in pro wrestling, watching that my whole life, so I kind of modeled my whole game plan off that. So a lot of fake hate. I don't get too worked up about all of it, but everybody else does.
You just like to stir it.
That's right.
I like it. All right. Logan is also, for everybody out there listening to the podcast, he's a local shooter for us. So I run into him a lot at the different local matches and Area 8 and Nationals last year.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to delve right into our getting to know Logan questions. So with that being the case, what's your favorite movie?
From dusk till dawn.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, I'm
going to leave that one alone for now, though.
Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, that's a good one. Selma Hayek.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite book?
Into Thin Air, the John Krakauer book. It's about the 1996 Everest disaster. I'm super into mountaineering and all that stuff, and I don't know if I'd ever do it myself, but I read everything about Everest and the 8,000ers. Those are the mountains that are over 8,000 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 8,000 meters.
Yep.
Okay.
The death zone.
All right. Now, I know you were in the Army, correct?
Yep. I was a combat medic. I was stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia, 37 Cav, 3rd ID from I went in 2002 and I got out in 2006.
Okay, so you weren't in any of the mountain units.
No, 37 Cav. Yep. And then I deployed to Iraq 05 to 06. I was at Camp Rustamiyah, Baghdad from 05 to 06.
Okay. All right. Favorite historical figure?
Favorite historical figure? I don't know. I never really thought about it.
No?
You stumped me on that one.
Oh, wow. All right. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll pull a Jen Psaki. We'll have to circle back to that.
Yeah, circle back.
How about favorite gun and caliber? They don't have to be matching.
Right now it's that 357 SIG P320 Franken Legion I built. I can't stop shooting that. When I first put it together, I was just shooting it at locals and stuff, but I'm just so obsessed with it. I'm shooting Area 7 in 2 weeks. I switched to open, and I'm going to shoot that. So I'm sure there's going to be a couple ROs that are like, you're not shooting open. Wait till we get to the Corano.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be about 175, I'd say. Easy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, 124 grain bullet moving at about 1,400 feet per second.
Wow.
Anybody that's doubting that it's really a major power factor will finally.
There you go. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. Hey, did you see that guy at Area 6? He's shooting 357 Magnum revolver.
No.
Yeah, he's gotten a little bit of grief too. Some guy shooting 357 Magnum. It's a hand cannon.
Wow.
Yeah. I can only imagine the flame coming out of it.
It's like a 6-shot revolver. He's just reloading the whole match.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, you're here to have fun.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget that part.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, so here's one unique just to you, Logan.
Go for it.
Favorite wrestler of all time, and no, it cannot be the Iranian Sheik.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to say Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner.
Really?
Really?
I love him, man. He's just, I mean, he was so dumb. He's just the stereotypical, just big, dumb jock. Everybody wanted to be him. He was horrible on the mic, but like that was kind of his gimmick. He was so horrible on the mic. That's what like got him over, you know.
Okay.
Big Stone Cold fan. Man, I talk about wrestling all night, man. I really
Man,
could.
I thought you were going to say Jimmy Fly Snuka on there.
No. It's gonna be Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, and
Yeah,
I had no idea you were such a wrestling fan until
huge.
2 years ago. So 2019, when Dave Ankeny first came out with those state belts.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Oh, I gotta have one!" Oh, and that's when I found out you.
Have you seen the new one?
Dude, they look nice.
It's a heartbreaker though, because I mean, you got to really put on a good performance to get one, you know.
Or have a popper help you, or kick someone in the shin, something.
Yeah, those belts are every year they just keep getting better and better. I tip my hat to David, and and that spread like wildfire. Everybody wants one of them belts. You know, everybody that knows about that belt at that match wants one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was very impressed with the picture he sent us or just posted recently.
Yeah.
That's a very impressive looking belt.
Oh yeah, one of the best trophies in competition shooting right now. Easy.
mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Totally agree. So how long have you been shooting?
Competitively, man, I got a sob story, man. I wish I'd been shooting my whole life. I didn't discover competition shooting until 2015. A friend took me to a Black Creek Outlaw match. I showed up with a thigh rig and no mag pouches. It was July 4th, Fallen Steel. It was one stage. It was like 60 plates. They had a barrel set up. I was setting my mags on the table. Well, the guy running the match like yelled at me. You know, he's like, "Oh, you didn't know the rules. That we have a website. You should have read the rules about mag pouch and blah blah." And he went on and on. So I took my ball and went home. You know, I finished the match, and that was in 2015. I never came back for like 2 years. It's like,
Wow.
the hell with that. So then my first USPSA match was GRB Montpelier. I started out in production. I shot like 4 matches, maybe 5 in 2017. I just wasn't into it. I wasn't having a good time. You know, I wasn't doing very well. I was placing at like, 89 out of 90. You know, it wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad. You know, and people don't want to talk about their past. They act like they never sucked. Man, I sucked.
I know.
Yeah, I sucked. I'll be the first to tell you I was terrible. So I shot a little bit more in 2018, maybe like 5 or 6 matches, and then a little bit of PCC. I had a Keltec Sub 2000, man. It was full of M Carbo parts. I was shooting that, beating people with that. People are getting mad about losing to a Keltec. So, but then it started falling apart, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I switched to MPX, and that thing fell apart too. I've been through 2 of them. But long story short, 2019 it really took off. Like it bit me. And I shot like 50 something matches in 2019. I shot like 50 something matches in 2020, and I've shot a boatload this year. So it's really been 2 full seasons plus this year. I'm 17 and 18. You can count those if you want, but not very many matches.
Okay. Well, I have a question further down that I'm gonna jump up there then. With as many matches as you shoot, I obviously I follow you on Instagram, so I see a lot of your posts. And I've seen your posts about ammo deliveries. How has the ammo pandemic affected you?
I'd stocked up a little bit before this happened, so it didn't hurt me too bad. I won't pay over 50 cents for 9mm. I've walked away from so much 9mm at the store if it's over 50 cents. So 50 cents is about my threshold. I've been lucky. I walked into Cabela's one day on a whim. They had just brought out a ton of ammo with no limits. I picked up 2,000 rounds right then and there. And then a bunch of people realized what was going on, and, they started scrambling over, and they were mad that I took so much, but it wasn't going in the safe. I'm going to shoot it. So tough luck.
Right.
So,
Right.
And
you're not hoarding it.
Yeah, I had like a gift card or something, and with a military discount, it was like 26 cents a round for 2,000.
Wow.
So I've lucked out. That's happened a couple times, like Bass Pro and stuff like that. So.
Well, and you live down in that area, so it's probably not far from you.
Yeah. I'm only a couple minutes from Green Top and Bass Pro, so I just,
Okay.
I keep my ear to the ground and keep looking around, and I've been lucky. So, well, I'll tell you what's hurt the most is when Walmart stopped selling handgun ammo. So
Mm-hmm.
I used to get the majority of my ammo through Walmart. You know, the Federal 115, the red boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff was like 18 cents a round. I was buying a ton of it. So, I mean, that kind of hurt. So, but, you know, I've been sitting on a little bit, you know, and I try to, you know, buy, you know, as much as I can per month or whatever. I'm going to shoot, you know, I'm not going to pay $1 a round for 9mm, but I'm not going to go without shooting either. So,
Okay.
Mm.
Let me switch my speakers real quick here. There we go.
I paid $1 for 357 SIG. That hurt.
You did what now?
I've paid $1 a round for 357 SIG. That hurt.
Mm.
Wow, that does hurt. That's like
Yeah.
5.56 ammo there.
Yeah.
That price.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That did hurt paying for that.
Wow. I'd
Yeah.
probably cry myself to sleep on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I actually took a picture one time when I went to a store up here because I'm up in Front Royal, and sent it to Dave, and I'm like, "Can you believe the price that they're asking?" And it's just ridiculous. And it's just
Well, what kills me the most is when, like, all these gun stores I go into, they have signs up that say 357 SIG is not 357 Magnum. It will not work in your revolver. Because all these people are just, they see the 357 and buy it, and then they try to return it, and you can't return ammo.
right,
So half the people that bought it don't even have a gun that it works in.
right,
I'm like, come on.
right.
Wow. That's going to suck.
That's when you try to find them and be like, "Hey, I'll make you a deal."
Yeah, that's right.
Since you were that dumb.
I posted it when it was on my channel. I posted it one time. I wanted the signs. It won't work in your revolver. I'm like, come on, man.
Wow.
Somebody wrote in the comments, not everybody's all consumed. You can't read the difference between Magnum and SIG. You don't have to be consumed.
Wow.
I know the difference between 45 ACP and 45 Colt. Whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So are you still shooting PCC then?
I shot a local right before Two Gun Nationals, but I was getting geared up for it. So no, I'm not into it anymore. I had 2 Gen 3 MPXs. They just constantly broke down. I was constantly cleaning them. They're constantly breaking my heart at matches, and then you know, people can say what they want about PCC, but they don't understand how hard it is to run a rifle through a stage that's designed for pistols. I mean, it has its own, you know, challenges. You know. So I can shoot splits faster with the rifle. I feel like, you know, I can get through an array of targets faster with a rifle, but I move through a stage better with a pistol all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So maneuverability, you can't beat a pistol.
Yeah, my carry optics times are as fast or faster than with the PCC.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe I will, you know, a little bit of PCC, but I mean my focus is carry optics. So
okay.
I love that red dot. I shot iron sights at nationals, man. You know, I got punished a little bit. I just don't shoot irons anymore.
Oh, come on.
Oh, it's hard. It's hard, you know. I kept looking over the gun for the dot.
So are you shooting your 357 in carry optics?
No, so I have 2 different 320 builds. One is a complete Legion and it's 9mm. The other one is a Legion lower on a 357 SIG upper. Mm-hmm. So same holster, all that stuff. Very comparable to each other. Okay. Just one recoil is a lot more.
I was going to say, what's the recoil difference like? I mean, what's the
that 357 SIG's a hand cannon. It's a neck down 10mm. That's what it is. So
okay.
It's got some recoil to it.
Yeah, it's going to require some grip.
So I find when I shoot that and then go back to 9mm, I kind of over grip the 9 and I drive it down a little too much.
Oh, anticipating?
Yeah, I'm just crushing the 9mm after. Yeah,
I believe it. I absolutely believe that.
Yeah, but it's weird. You know, more recoil. I shoot the 357 SIG better. I don't know what it is. Just that maybe I spent more time on that gun or what. But I'm more accurate with it.
Do you think you're more patient with it?
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit more visual patience because you can't just slap the trigger with that. The 9mm, I feel like I just can rip on the trigger a little bit more. So
I can really imagine you feeling that. Like let's say you shoot a match like Fredericksburg, you shoot Saturday and Sunday, 2 different guns. If you shoot your 357 on Saturday, I could see where on Sunday you'd be like blah 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 blah.
Yeah, yeah. And so, like, on close targets, the kinesthetic shooting, my relationship of the gun to the target, I'll just pull the trigger sometimes. But really, it's sight picture bang, and I'm not doing that with the carry optics as much. I'm usually the carry optics, it's hammering it, sight picture, 2 trigger pulls. So
Right. Okay. Now, as you said, you have shot a lot of matches. What so far has been your favorite match?
That's a good question. So the main ones I shoot are GRB in Montpelier, Fredericksburg, Fburg, Sir Walter, True North, and Pitt County. Those are, and each one has their own, unique things. Very challenging. A lot of heat. It's going to be Sir Walter in North Carolina. That's got the most talent. Every time that you go to that match, there's a ton of talent, and they set up some pretty good stages that are challenging. You're not going to see many hosers in this area. It's all hard cover, no shoots, all that stuff, distance shooting, tight shots. Fredericksburg, I really like that match. A lot of people come out to it. I see more of the people I regularly shoot with at Fredericksburg, so that has a special place. And then GRB is always going to have a special place because that's where I started competing. So, and Chris sets up good stages, but he sets up really tight stuff. So there's always a lot of tight stuff at GRB. So Pitt County always has 32 round stages, so you get a lot of bang for your buck. And then True North, True North is probably the newest match I've been shooting, but they have a Steel Challenge USPSA or Outlaw Steel USPSA match. So it's USPSA style stages, but it's all falling steel. So that's really fun.
Oh wow, I've shot their Steel Challenge match there. I've never shot one of those.
Yeah, you run and gun just like USPSA, but it's all falling steel. That's all the targets, and they'll have like little painted black targets with a white hand on it. Those are your no shoots. So, but it's all time based. So, like if you knock down one of those no shoot steals, it's like a 10-second penalty or something. So,
okay,
that's really fun.
Actually, sounds pretty fun. Yeah,
I know it is. Yeah, it's a good time. Yep.
You know immediately if you have a mic or not. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
So I know you're an RO. What led you to that?
So just at matches, and I'm not trying to say, and I'm the best or anything like that. I'm really not. But I just saw so much poor officiating that I said I can do that better. So that's what really pushed me into being an RO. I study all the time. I brush up on the rule book, all that stuff. I'm a student of the game. I really am. I care very much about USPSA. USPSA is pretty much my life, So care very much about the sport, care very much about the rules, all that stuff. So I'm hoping to find a CRO school soon so I can make CRO too.
Okay. And you've actually been on my radar for a while to be on the podcast. I wanted to wait. If you remember, I messaged you a while back asking if you were going to Two Gun Nationals. You said yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's when I'm going to have him on, is after Two Gun Nationals. That'll give us that to talk about as well, and how that went.
I definitely appreciate the invite. Like I said, this is my first podcast. I'm excited to be here. So definitely appreciate you considering me.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just going to say, because you were leading in with the RO questions and everything. So go ahead and finish up with the whole RO stuff, because this is the area which I find very interesting, because being a larger person, the way the belt sits and everything of that nature. So just with the new rule changes. So I'm kind of like going, okay, I wanted to see what his thoughts were, because you had that on there. So go ahead.
Right. Well, and this next one, there's a little bit of a lead into it. And it's funny, you said you thought that you weren't necessarily ecstatic with the ROing you had seen.
Yeah.
Ben Steger has come out publicly and said the reason he doesn't shoot nationals anymore is because the ROing is not great.
Oh, I'm not going to say it's terrible, but just firsthand what I've seen, especially at big matches and stuff. RO's not watching the timer, not catching foot faults, not catching shoot throughs, missed calls on the paper, clear deltas that they're calling Charlies, and I've seen it firsthand, So, I mean that's a big deal for me, It's like this sport is made or broken on the officiating, and poor officiating can ruin a match.
Right.
Totally agree.
Well,
and I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus or anything like that, but and I'm sure we'll get into more two-gun nationals later. But I got called for a foot fault, and you go back and watch the video, and it wasn't even close. So,
I actually did see that video. I agree.
And I at first I acted like a big baby. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I always have. I'll be the 1st to admit when I'm wrong and all that stuff. I act like a big baby at first, and I didn't say anything to the ROs, but I said it loud enough so they could hear that it was bullshit. I'm tired of the poor calls, all that stuff. I said that. They didn't say anything back to me. I went back. I calmed down. I realized that I don't have a leg to stand on. And no pun intended, but. I sucked it up, and I finished helping reset the stage and all that stuff, and I shook their hand and thanked them at the end, and I never brought it back up. There's not at that point it's over. It's over.
Right.
So
do you feel like now with technology and everything advancing that maybe with like how they even televised nationals that maybe if you feel like they call a foot fault that you can request a video review and say, hey, look, let's see.
I think to an extent it should be, at least talked about. I know why they don't. They're trying to keep the match pace going and the flow going, and if they open the floodgates, so to speak, for video review, everybody's gonna look at this video, RO, look at this video, and then you're slowing down the whole match, and then everybody's gonna get bottlenecked, and then the match is never gonna end.
Right.
So for the powers that be to say, well, it's just never allowed, then they can stand on that and they never have to face that. You know what I mean? So, that's why they don't do it, is because it just opened the floodgates for everybody pulling their phone out. And then a lot of the times it's not definitive. People have shown me their video. I've DQ'd people for 180, and then they go and show me the video, and they're like, "No, look!" And I'm looking at the video. I'm like, I don't see what you're talking about.
Right.
So it's not definitive. So. And but the case in point for my video, and that video is very definitive. And I posted the real time, which was kind of fast, and then I posted several slowdowns of it. So and another thing I regret not doing too on that is I know better. So when they called the footfall, I just accepted it and walked away. And in the heat of the moment, I wasn't thinking right. And I talked to another shooter about this. I just got done shooting the stage. You're not in a mindset to really immediately go on to defensive and start defending yourself, But I should have asked questions. Hey, which foot was the fault? Where were you standing when it happened? How do you know that I faulted? I didn't ask any of those questions. I just accepted it. So at least I should have stood up for myself. So I regret that,
Right.
Well, and I can go back to the 2019 state match where you and I shot on the same squad early because we were both working the match.
I got a foot fault there too, and I disagree with that one too. But I didn't have the video proof. The video blocked it, so I never even brought it up. So,
well, if you remember, it was our very first stage we went through, and I hit the steel. The shot was in the circle, but it didn't fall. And
the calibration
I didn't even realize, because I had only been shooting USPSA for a year at that time. I didn't even realize you could ask for basically a challenge for them to come down and shoot the steel target.
Yeah, I disagree with calibration check too. Just because it didn't fall down when you hit it, and then another person comes up and shoots it, doesn't mean that it wasn't a proper hit. The RO should be able to go over and look at it. It was the mark on the steel. Is that in the calibration zone? Yes, it is. It's a stage equipment malfunction. Give them the hit or reshoot them.
Right.
I don't even know why we're going to a second shot.
I totally concur with that. I agree 100%. But at the time,
I know you saw JJ at Nationals.
Yeah.
Any RO could have walked over and said that's a dead center hit. Give him the hit.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was clear now, but I didn't know at the time anything about calibration. I was willing to take the mic, and you're like, Dave, what are you doing? And I was like, what? What do you mean? Sure, okay, calibration.
Hell yeah.
So
you at least got to try.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, absolutely. And it didn't fall when
Yeah.
Jim McBurnett shot it. So, I got to reshoot the stage. Otherwise I would not have. But I mean, I learned. So that was interesting. Now getting back.
They had a lot of problems with the steel at that match.
Now,
Yeah, there were.
I'm wondering, like, maybe in the future, if you did have a discrepancy like that, if you finish that stage, you have your score, and of course, then if you at the end you wrote in saying, "Hey, look," or you could write something where it says, "Hey, I want this reviewed," and if it goes through a review, not at that time, but after the match is over, before they post the scores, then they can say, "Oh, yep, he's right." Then they could go back and change your time. Now, I mean, that's possibility. Maybe, I don't know. So you and RO, you would have like you said, you have a better idea. And will this delay things? Yeah, probably. So
No.
Yeah,
I'm a firm believer in, if you're painting the steel between shooters, an RO should be able to look where the scoring hit is. Is it a scoring hit or is it outside the calibration zone?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, there is that 1 hour of time at the end of the match where you can challenge things, and that's where
I don't know anybody personally that's ever done that. So
I don't either. But that is where I do believe that, like your video, be able to submit that video at the end of the match and say, "Look, take the foot fault away," and
Right.
then that adjusts your score appropriately.
Right.
And then that's it for you. That's where I think that kind of stuff can be done,
Right.
Now, getting back real quick to the RO thing. Now, you were an RO last year at the Carry Optics and Production Nationals, as well as Open and Limited Nationals. That's a lot of high level shooters.
No.
No?
I just did Carry Optics and it was Factory Gun Nationals, production and Carry Optics.
Right. Okay. You didn't do.
I didn't do Open and Limited.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, but what's it like to you? Because you also did Area 8. Now, what's it like to RO a national match versus an area match?
Believe it or not, they felt the same. So
Okay.
I had been ROing, a lot. If you go to any local in this area and you're on my squad, I'm going to be ROing pretty much the whole time. There's other people that jump in, obviously. I mean, I can't do it, 100% of the time, but pretty much, I try to run the squad, So I had a ton of experience when I got to Area 8. That was my first major match that I RO'd, and I stayed on the box the whole time. I had, obviously it's a crew of people, and there was other people that did a ton of stuff too, but I pretty much was on the timer, the majority of the time. So I figured you were going to ask me about, because you told me, kind of offline about the pro shooters and stuff. I want to say the first pro shooter I RO'd was Shane Coley. So,
Okay.
And not to throw him under the bus, I had to give him a mic. Yeah, he asked for the overlay. I was like, "Hey, no problem, man." And I was like, "I'm sorry, man. It's just not there." So the very first pro, I had to punish him.
Oh goodness. Now, do you think ROing at Area 8 helped for nationals? So you didn't have to worry about, because I know Seiler came through there.
Oh yeah.
Nils. I mean, everybody.
No, well, I never RO'd Nils because he shot on staff day, so he was with his squad.
Okay.
So
I got you.
Seiler, Shane Coley, Todd Jarrett. I shoot with Todd all the time. He's still a pro shooter, but I mean, I RO with him
He's
all
more
the
of a
time.
local shooter at this point.
Yeah. So there's a lot of big names at Area 8, but I mean, I felt comfortable the whole time. So I feel like I'm a better RO than a shooter. So I'm pretty comfortable.
Okay. Now,
so what do you think? Are you going to lead in with the question for the changes?
Yeah, in just a minute. Okay. I've got, because there's an unwritten rule I wonder if they talk about at RO school.
Oh, yeah, what's that?
And that's the height requirement to be a national champ.
Oh man.
I mean, did you see the height of all those guys that came through nationals on the super squad?
I don't know.
They're all like 5'17" tall. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Nils is pretty tall. Mason
They're
Lane's pretty
all
tall.
pretty tall. I mean, Leo, who's 6 foot, we looked at each other. We're like, what in the world? They were like, it was like a whole stampede of giraffes just coming through. We're like, what in the world is going on?
Josh Frey looks pretty tall.
Yeah.
Leo Grandis isn't though, so he's a champion of the smaller, shorter stature people.
Somehow he's cheating the rules. He and Siler both.
He's like 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", somewhere in there. Not to throw him under the bus, you know. Way, you know, one of the best PCC shooters on the planet. So,
all right. Before we get to the rules changes, I want to play a quick game with you.
All right.
All right. Let me find it. All right. So I need your ruling. I'm going to play a short video clip, and then I need R.O. Logan's ruling on this. Okay. Tell me what you award this guy. Here we go.
Oh, I see what he's saying now, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like going, okay, that wall. And then,
are you okay, Leo?
I know it's not loaded, and I know he's not going to shoot me, but he's literally pointing that at my image right now, and it's freaking me out, man.
I know it's you're like, well, for me, where are you at? You're
all right,
bro. That's a clear 180.
Okay, good. All right,
clear 180.
So that's a DQ.
Oh yeah, DQ. He's gone.
That happened live with Wampler on the podcast.
Flagged another competitor. He's gone.
Oh, I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
I'm gonna tell you, it's that new Cool Fire trainer system, the CO system. So I was just showing Dave Wampler, you know, the system and everything, and we were talking about the trigger wall, and everything like that. Well, I had it right at the trigger wall, and then it just. And I had that new Freedom Smith trigger system in there, and it's just so light that it's just a hair. That thing was like, you know, and it's like I knew it happened, but I'm like, play it off, keep going, you know.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not one of the you know, you see all those YouTube and channels for safety, it's unloaded. I'm like, you're posting a video online. Nobody cares if your gun's unloaded or not. You know,
right.
Everybody's all worried about I got to show it's unloaded on the video.
Right.
Whatever.
All right. So what Chris is alluding to is your thoughts on the rule changes, like the holster and magazine placement.
It doesn't bother me, but you know what? I don't have as long a dog in the fight as everybody else. You know, people that have been doing this 10, 15, 20 years, you know, and it's been, you know, behind the hips, all that stuff. You know, they've got tons and tons of hours of training that, so they're probably more upset than me. I kind of just went with the flow, you know. To me, it makes sense, you know, having the mag pouches up front. Why do I need to reach behind my hip to grab them? I never understood that rule, you know.
Yeah.
So it really didn't bother me to move them. So
I assume it makes makes your job a little easier, not having to worry about that.
Oh yeah, I run the mag pouches, Canada in the front now, and I mean it's faster, you know, but I don't think it's like, you know, match winning faster. So,
right.
I don't know.
I definitely think the biggest difference is going to be the magnet. So if you're doing an unloaded barrel start or table, you know, something, you can slap one on your magnet real quick, especially shooting carry optics or open. You only need 2 mags typically.
I ordered a mag pouch with a mag from Safariland. I run an ELS system, and it took like 40 days to get here, and I get it. I'm so pumped. I open it up, and it's left-handed.
Oh no!
Yeah, so you know, I called them, and they were cool. You know, I like Safariland. They're like, "Well, you checked left-handed when you ordered it." And I was like, "Maybe I fat fingered it, but that's not what I wanted." So I took the heat on that one, so I sent it back. So I think you know, I shoot with Larry Talbot a lot, and he's got one that he got off like Ben Stager Pro Shop or something, and it's a clip to the belt. So I think I'm going to go with that one instead anyway. So it ended up working out.
Okay.
It's a little just more low profile. So.
Yeah, it's funny with the whole rule change. At Area 8, I had one of the ROs come to me, and my mag pouch was a little up front, and of course it was canted, you know, and he was like, "Oh, you can't have it like that. It's got to be back, and it's got to be straight up." And I'm like looking at him, like, Do you
Yeah.
seriously think I'm going to really make a dent?
Yeah.
You
And
know?
see, like, I get it, the rules are the rules and all that stuff, but you got the spirit of the law and the letter of the law,
Yeah,
The
Right.
letter of the law says it needs to be behind your hip. The spirit of the law, hey, if it's a little bit forward, doesn't matter.
right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, and then of course at that time I was wearing it. I had a shirt that was kind of hanging out, and he's like, "Oh, you got to tuck your shirt in." I'm like,
What?
"Really? Yeah,
At,
Yeah.
at USPSA?
yeah, yeah." Area 8.
Where in the rules
Shadowhawk,
does
yeah.
it say you have to have a tucked in shirt?
It was actually dress code rule. So
Like
it
a
was
match dress code?
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, it's really, you want me to tuck my shirt in? He was like, don't worry about it. I'm like,
I've never
okay.
heard that.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
That's
like,
that's a little tight, if you ask me. That's a little
Yeah.
tight.
yeah.
Huggy might have had a little plumbing crack going on. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, little plumber butt.
Right. No.
He's putting on a show.
Right. I bent over and I'm like, oh, is that a mag on the ground?
Yeah. As far as the flashlight stuff, that doesn't really bother me either. They were talking about, that should be a level 1, exemption thing. Well, I haven't really seen a whole lot of people at major matches using the flashlight. So I used the flashlight at Two Gun Nationals with the limited gun. So I don't know. It doesn't really bother me.
Now, did they check it to make sure it worked?
No, I haven't had anybody do that. I mean, it had batteries in it. It's not filled with filled with lead weights or anything. But have y'all seen that lock grips?
Yeah.
Brass? Oh my,
Mhm.
that's a
Yeah.
little corny. Yeah,
But how brilliant is that? We're going to take a keychain light, put it inside, make it 100 pounds, and there's your weapon-mounted light.
Yep.
it's a little over the top. But are you shocked though?
No.
They changed the rules, and people are gonna push that envelope. So
They're going to game it. Yep,
yep.
absolutely.
I wouldn't personally do that, but I'm not mad at somebody that wants to put that on their gun. Unless they beat me, then I'll be a little bad if they beat me.
It's definitely not going to take them from outside of the super squad to winning the national championship. That's for sure.
No.
All right.
People get worked up about the rules, and half the time they're not even in contention. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, come on.
Yep. The only thing I ever get upset about is just, me feeling like I didn't perform my best. But other than that, I know I'm not gonna threaten anybody for USPSA 8 or Area 8 championship or state championship or national championship. Like you said, I mean, I'm going there to have fun. I'm going there
to have fun. I want to shoot
Get
well.
better.
I'll never say
Yeah.
that I don't care about the outcome. I do. I 100% care about the outcome. After the match, I'm on practice score, hitting refresh nonstop. So,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
I care more about my class, though. So if I'm like A class or whatever, I care about winning A. I'm not trying to, well, I mean, I am trying, but I mean, I'm not. I don't expect to beat all the GMs and all that stuff. So.
I'm always trying to improve myself, beat myself.
Yeah.
So, I know I'm not going to, run with you guys up there at the top level, but I know that, hey, I'm going out there to beat myself, to make myself better, and just have a good time,
Or find a friend and try to beat them. Like I shoot Larry Talbot all the time. I always try to beat him, and
yeah,
nine times out of 10 it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I usually try to compete against Leo, since he's not here, and I'll just go ahead and tell you that I enjoy competing against him because he usually buys me appetizers after the match.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Little friendly wager.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So,
all right. So switching to the Two Gun Nationals now. This is a multi-part question. So you took your 357?
9 mil.
Okay, so you shot your 9.
So there was 2 divisions. There was open and limited, and I mean there was a ton of heat in both, but I mean there was a lot more heat in open. So and at the time I thought, because the only experience I have with 2 gun is my local Black Creek match, which you run with your pistol in your holster. The only time I've only been DQ'd once in my entire shooting career. I was running 2 gun at Black Creek, and I was running with my primary, and I felt something shift, and I thought it was like a mag or something. I heard it hit the ground. I knew, and I looked back. My pistol had flown out and was laying on the ground. I was running a slick top holster. So when they announced Two Gun Nationals, I have retention holsters, which don't work with my carry optic setup. So I bought a a la carte iron sight upper from SIG, and I was going to run a retention holster, thinking that I was going to be shooting with the rifle and running with the pistol in my holster, and that wasn't the case at all. So, but anyway, so I'd switched to limited to do that, less heat and the retention holster, and then I end up going back to the slick top because I didn't need it. So,
Okay.
I trash irons. I had fun shooting irons at that match. It was very challenging to me because I just don't ever shoot irons anymore. But I got my groove on a couple stages.
Now, what did you shoot for PCC at that match?
So it's a Frankenstein build. So it's a Brecky custom upper, which that's Max Leogranis, him and his guy, they come up with. It's a 12.5-inch barrel with a 4-inch cop pinned and welded, and then a smoke composites handguard. And it's a Foxtrot mic lower with Timney trigger, Rubber City bolt, and what do you call it? The Blitzkrieg hydraulic buffer system.
Wow.
So takes Glock mags. It was super reliable. It ran like a champ all weekend. I didn't clean it between the first and second day. I never even cleaned it, which with the MPX I would have to. So I never cleaned it between the second. It ran the entire time. I think I shot. I had a 600 round bag and a 500 round bag. I went through the entire 600 bag and about half through the 500 over the weekend. It was over 800 rounds. So pistol and rifle, no issues.
Wow.
Okay. That's a lot of ammo.
I know. I wasn't expecting to shoot that much. Most of the stages were like 40 round rifle, 30 round pistol.
Wow.
11 stages. There was a couple that were pistol only stages or PCC only stages, but I shot over 800 rounds easy.
Wow.
Yep.
It hurt.
So,
After I was like, my God.
that's a lot of money on top of all the travel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, me and Larry were talking about it easy over 1,500. With the travel, buying that upper, hotel, all that stuff, the ammo, over 1,500.
Wow.
Goodness gracious. So overall, how do you rate the match?
It's great. I was expecting a hoser. It was not a hoser at all. It was super technical. The only thing that, I wish had been a little bit different. They had the dump boxes set up in the same spot, so everybody's kind of running the same plans. I mean, there was difference in the plans and stuff, but everybody's got to go to the same box. Everybody's got to, whether you're picking up your rifle or picking up your pistol, you're still going to the same spot. So I thought it was going to be more running with both your guns, and I get why they did it. This is the inaugural Two Gun Nationals. You're going to have a ton of people show up with slick top holsters. If they had people running around, you'd have seen a lot of guns on the ground and a ton of DQs. So I get why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the format was great. And then the other thing that kind of threw me for a loop. So when me and Larry got down there, we thought it was the fastest man wins. We thought it was just time based, and it's time plus points. So you finish a stage, and whoever's the fastest on that stage wins all the points for that stage, and everybody that's slower gets a percentage of his points or her points. Yeah, so we didn't figure that out till the second day. So I would have shot it completely different. Like the first day, I was just spraying and just throwing shots, and I didn't care about points,
Right.
So the second day we realized it's points based. So like Larry had like a terrible stage that he just bombed, and I was like, well, if you did better than me on all the other stages, it's not going to matter. And it didn't. He beat me by like 1 point.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
so you guys were pretty close.
Time plus points. He came in 29th. I came in 30th in limited. So out of 92. So
not too bad.
No, upper third. I can't complain. Especially with irons, I never shoot.
Yeah, first time ever.
Yep, I'd run that match, but as soon as I left, I was like, I'd run it back. I'm a competitive person. I was like, run it back.
So I take it next year.
I hope we see more local matches like that. I mean, it's an easy setup. Time plus points is the fastest man or girl wins. And then it's stage wins and points percentages from each stage. So
okay,
there you go.
They had little clay, pumpkins. I hated those. They're so hard to shoot. They put some at like 30, 40, 50 yards.
Clay pumpkins, really?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, oh yeah.
Like how big is this pumpkin?
I mean, about the size of your fist.
Oh,
Yeah. The clay pigeons. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Pumpkins, pigeons. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had them set up
Wow.
on little target stands. There's some tiny shots.
Mm.
Absolutely. That'll make you slow down
Yeah.
unless you're
Yeah.
Max Leograndis.
Yeah, a lot of standing reloads with the PCCs. Not just me, a bunch of people standing reloads with the PCCs.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. That's it. Very interesting. Now, how do you rate the range complex?
So I'd never been there before. Are you familiar with Colonial Shooting Academy?
Yes.
So when you go there every year, you got to watch a video and the safety card and all that stuff. Well, that place did the same thing. It was pretty big. You drive in and the main complex building is right up front, and then you go in, you do all that stuff, watch the video, I think the card's good for like a year, and then you drive down to the bays, and I mean it's a big range. It's the biggest range I've ever been to. It was pretty impressive.
Now, how far was it from where you parked to the bays?
Maybe like 500 feet.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
So they had so there's the parking lot, and then they had the 5 main bays right there, and then up around the corner, that's not, I mean, walking distance just wasn't going to happen. They gave you a parking permit to park back there on the back bays. So it's like 5 bays here and 5 bays in the back. So we shot the front 5 bays on day 1, and then the back 5 bays on day 2. They let us park out back on day 2.
Mm.
So there were 10 stages total?
11. They doubled up stage 5 and 6 on one bay.
Okay.
So one stage was a little PCC stage, and the other one was a pistol stage.
Okay.
So we started on 5 and 6, and it was a torrential downpour. We shot so many stages in the rain. That's the other thing, and you can't control the weather, but they broke it up. So morning squad was like 9 to 2, and then the afternoon squad started at 2. So 9 to 2, it was sunshine, beautiful. And then as soon as it's our turn to shoot a torrential downpour. So out of the 11 stages, I think I shot 4 and not that weren't in the rain. I shot 7 in the rain.
Wow.
Now, did they put the plastic over the targets, or
they did? They did. They put the plastic over the targets, but these plastic bags were pretty fresh. Normally they're all beat up and you can't see the targets.
Right.
You can still see the targets decent. These were probably the best bags I've seen. So
Okay.
I'd still like to see.
They must have different bags in Alabama.
I'd still like to see the waterproof targets, with the waterproof pasties.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the way to go. So,
So,
well,
I know Dave probably asked you, but I'm going to ask if you had to compare Frostproof to Talladega, which would you choose?
I mean, that's tough. I don't know. I think Talladega has the better range facility. I mean, it's just there's a lot of money in there. I mean, they have nice bays, but I mean, I had fun at Frostproof too. So I mean, it's kind of tough. But Frostproof has that. If you ever shot at Frostproof, they got that 7 a.m. sun.
Yeah.
So I didn't experience that. Maybe I just went into cards, but I didn't experience that at Alabama. that anybody that shot at Frostproof, shooting in the morning is awful there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with a red dot.
We were fortunate enough to experience that.
Yeah.
Yep, we sure did.
Oh,
yeah.
Man,
We just talked to Gianni Giordano, and he was saying the same thing, that he doesn't care for Frostproof at all. But
see, I won't go there. I won't go that far. Yeah. I've been to Frostproof twice, and I had fun both times. PCC Nationals and Carry Optics Nationals, so I had fun at both matches.
Yeah,
Shannon Smith was running it. He put on a good show.
Yeah,
he does.
I like their bays. I mean, granted, the one with the sun does suck, but I mean, they had plenty of bays, which was nice. Didn't have to double up or anything of that nature. Except for Bay 19 at the end.
You read my mind. Bay 19. I don't like that bay.
Well,
It's so big, and they think they got to fill it, and it's like a marathon sprint through the stage.
Yeah.
yeah.
They put
Well,
up
we
like
got to
a
shoot it.
35-yard target at that one.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, 42 yards is what it was lased at. And we got to shoot it the second day. That was our first stage, and it was the torrential downpour. So all we had was a big blob out there at 42 yards. I'm like, where am I going to aim at this blob?
Yeah.
But it was still, I mean, I had a great time. I loved it.
That 42-yard target. So we had just got back from lunch, and I never eat, at big matches or whatever. Well, I end up eating, and head was in the clouds, and he gave me the make ready. I loaded my gun, took my mag out, put it on the belt, and started that stage with 1 round in the gun and no mag in. He never said a word. He's not supposed to. He said beep, and I drew, and bang, click.
Oh no!
Yeah. I was looking forward to that stage too. And what's worse is so after I reload, I shot that stage in like 33 or 34 seconds, and a lot of alphas, very few Charlies. I crushed that stage, but the messing up the start, really hurt me, on the time. So I shot a great stage, but had a terrible
that was a big stage.
Yeah.
It was huge.
To
this day, I'll never forget that stage because we walked back there, and I walked in, and I'm like, oh my God.
So let me ask you, I know you're interviewing me, but let me ask you this. Do you guys plan makeup shots?
Plan makeup shots?
Yep. So everybody wants to, let's say you got a bunch of
paper. On that one.
Yeah, let's say you got a bunch of paper, and it's 2 per paper to neutralize the target or whatever. Sometimes I'll plan a makeup shot. So when I started that stage, I planned to put 3 on that 42 round immediately. So bang, bang, bang. I immediately planned 3 for that target. So
no, I didn't. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to shoot it, and I'm moving. I'm like, this thing is just too big, and being a big guy, and I'm like, yeah, running, as you come around that curve and you're running, and I'm like, oh yeah, don't forget the 180.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, okay, make sure you turn. That was all in my head. That's all I was thinking about was like, make sure you do not, because they kept on pointing. They were like, this is where the 180 is, and I'm like, yep, okay.
And then we talked earlier, the spirit of the law and the letter of the law. I don't look for 180s. I look for 190s. I mean, I just because it turns just a little bit, I just don't think that's you're a lot of ROs think that the 180 is to DQ people, and it's not. The 180 is to keep people safe, and you got a lot of ROs that use it as a tool to DQ people, not like that. So
yeah, I think they'd had some DQ, so they just wanted to make sure that everybody knew, because they even said, look, if you reload over here, be careful, because this is where people have been DQ'd. So they were just trying to preempt to make sure nobody got DQ'd. So they did the right way. It was good.
Yep.
But yeah, they were definitely like, look, the back berm and whatever. But that was a very fun stage.
Oh yeah, I like that stage a lot. So.
Now, how was your overall experience at 2 Gun? How would you rate that?
It was good. I had a good time. I went with 2 friends, Larry and another friend. So it was like about a 10-hour drive to get there. So, the match was fun. I had a good time. I really did.
Okay. Now, at Low Cap, apparently there was a food shortage. Did they have anything like that at 2 Gun National? Or
see, I don't know, because I didn't stay for the award ceremony. We got done shooting at like 1, and we left. So there was still the afternoon squad, and I think they finished at like 6:30. So
the answer was no then.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Because you guys had no food shortage.
Yeah. I asked Troy McManus before I left if we could have a proxy stand in for us at the prize table. He said yes. So I was like, cool, see ya.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, shout out 3 Gun Kenzie. Thanks. she was my proxy.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So, with all of the shooting and the ROing, what are your shooting goals?
To stay B class for life. No. Everybody wants to make GM. But I had this conversation with somebody the other day. I don't know what the race to get to GM is. Like, I don't want to become GM and I'm losing to A's and B's and all that stuff. You know, like I
Mhm.
want to feel like I deserve to be a GM and I'm shooting at a GM level. You know, so I'm B class in carry optics and open, and I'm A class in PCC. So I think I'm a little under. I think I'm a little under in PCC. I think I shoot at probably a high master, maybe beginner GM in PCC. And I think that I'm probably right where I need to be in carry optics and open. I think I'm high B, low A in those. So I think with at least with pistol, I think I'm classed, accordingly, and I'm underclassed in PCC. If we're being honest.
So that's your focus now. Then is just to keep improving with the pistol.
Yeah. I'd like to by the end of the year probably hit high A, or hit A class and shoot at an A class level. So
Okay.
eventually the end goal is GM, obviously, but I'm not in any rush to get there.
Okay.
I
So
don't
that is your.
I don't feel like I'm shooting at a GM level. So
Okay. Now, how much has your range helped?
I'm there all the time, and
I know.
I've had a couple people, that oh, you only shoot steel, or you only, that little pie plate. That's all you do is shoot that, and that's what I post.
Right.
Just because I don't post it doesn't mean I'm not doing it. So there's a lot of off the scenes dry fire. There's a lot of off the scenes practice at that range that I just don't post. People want to see the fast shots on the steel and stuff like that, and that's to me from I'm a content producer, and from a content perspective, I can shoot at little steel, and everybody that's watching the video hears whether I hit it or miss it. You don't really get that kind of feedback with paper, so that's why I post a lot of the steel stuff. Hey,
Right.
here's a 1 second draw and shoot on steel at 25 yards, and everybody can see it and hear it. So, I'm shooting a couple majors this year as far as other goals and stuff. Obviously, I'd like to place at those majors and bring trophies home. I'm shooting this for fun, but I'm also shooting it to win. If I didn't have a shot at winning, I wouldn't show up. So
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I asked about your goals because I think the fact that you created your own range so you could practice shows that you're in it to improve and not just show up and burn up ammo.
Yep.
So
and you got in. No disrespect to anybody, you got people that show up to shoot this because they want to have fun. You got people that show up that they want practical training or whatever. This is a game, and I play it because it's a sport. It's like basketball, baseball, anything like that. And I'm here to shoot it to win and get trophies and stuff like that, and that's why I do it. The side benefits of that is getting time on trigger and training and all that stuff. But I mean, my main goal is because it's a sport and I'm playing it like a sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than shooting a basketball at a hoop.
That's right.
Which I'm super obsessed with NBA too. So
I was until some political stuff started going down.
not we won't go that far, but I already gave up like NFL and all that stuff. Like all I have left is basketball, and I'm super obsessed. If I let the politics take it up, I'll never have any sport left. So I just kind of I hate to say it, but I got to put the blinders on and just focus on my love for basketball. So
I hear you.
I don't know. I think I'll stick with pro wrestling.
I've been keeping up with it so much. Like lately, I'm a huge Brock Lesnar fan, and he went away. So
yeah,
when he comes back, maybe I'll turn it back on. But I mean, when he's out, I kind of just lose focus on watching it. So
right.
I've been watching a little AEW though. I love Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy. The Orange Cassidy. Oh my God, the gimmick is so hot right now. Yeah, really into that.
Well, it's so funny because I remember, and you probably do too, is that how it was for WWF,
Mm-hmm.
and there was always I think it was like the Atlantic Coast Conference or something of that nature, or like the what was
they had
it?
a lot of
Flair?
regional.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ric
yeah,
Flair
yeah.
used to be in, and
And
all
the
those
territories, NWA, all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. And then once the WWF, which now is WWE, bought them and everything, and then this whole conglomerate became about. And I think now they branch back out, or somebody has started their own little areas and everything of that nature. I like the little regional ones, because it just seemed a lot better,
I missed out on it a lot. They come to Hopewell a lot.
Okay.
All of the older wrestlers and stuff, like the Rock and Roll Express, all of them.
Oh yeah.
And then, I had plans to go to it, but then, COVID happened and all that stuff, so I haven't really seen anything pop up. But I hate to say it, the only pro wrestler I've ever met was Kane, and he was kind of a jerk.
What?
So, yeah. So 2005, I just got off a flight from Iraq, my 2 weeks of block leave while I was in Iraq, and he was at an airport in Atlanta, and I was like, "Oh, you're the first famous person I ever met," blah blah blah. And he's like, kind of like, giving me the cold shoulder. He signed a napkin. I went to ask him for a picture, and he just pretended to take a phone call and walked away. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He broke my heart. He broke my heart.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Glenn Jacobs.
Oh wow, wow.
Calling him out.
There you go. Put him out there. Put him out there. But, oh yeah,
that's why we're Undertaker fans.
Yeah, I used to love those two when they would battle each other, the Undertaker and Kane. Those were epic battles. Or Mick Foley, the cage match. That when the cage actually broke and he fell through and he's like, oh my god, that dude's dead.
Teeth going through his lips and everything.
I know.
Yeah.
He still gets up and keeps going, And it's also amazing. I find out about these guys is that how their educational background. These guys have college degrees, and you're just like, what, and it's amazing that you find out about their educational background. So
it's the what though, it's the ones that have that background and they stay away from the drugs because it a lot of, I don't know what it is, but a lot of pro wrestlers get wrapped up in the drugs and stuff, and it ruins their life. So the ones that kind of stay away from that and find work elsewhere and all that stuff, like a lot of them are doing podcasts now and all that. So they find longevity in their careers.
Right.
I kind of feel like it's pain management for them,
Yeah.
A lot of pain.
I think back in the day, that was the problem, is that pain management. That's what they went to, was trying to mask their pain, from their injuries. And now with all the sports medicine and everything, they have things to help them get through or rehab faster. So I'm thinking that's the case, because you've probably seen those documentaries where some of the older wrestlers, I saw one with DDP and all of them.
DDP Yoga. He was working with Jake the Snake, and one of the big ones, Scott Hall. Man, I mean, he's turned it around a little bit, but I mean, there were some dark times for him, that were documented.
Yeah.
Coming through the apron at like a local, and he's fall down, doped up, and they're carrying him to the ring to cut a promo. I mean, that's pretty bad,
Yeah.
But he was just at the what do you call it, Hall of Fame ceremony. He looked pretty good. I mean, he looks old, he's aged a ton, but I grew up on all that, so it's real hard to see them, kind of falling away.
Same here. I mean, it's so hard to, when you see them, you're just like, oh my god.
I say this a lot too, and it's the problem with life is the longer you're here, the more people you outlive. So
that is for sure.
Yeah. So, but sorry about the tangent.
No, that's right. Hey,
well, he said he could talk about it all night. So
you bring up wrestling, man. I can go. That's my life.
Oh yeah.
All right. So. Go ahead, Chris. Finish it up.
I was just saying I enjoy it too. So go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. So what does the rest of the shooting season for this year look like for you?
Swamped.
Swamped.
So I'm taking a break this weekend. I'm not shooting this weekend. Next weekend I'll be at the Kentucky sectional shooting carry optics. The weekend after that I'm at Area 7 shooting open. Nothing in July, and then it's Area 8, Virginia State, North Carolina section, and then Carry Optics Nationals.
So how did you get a slot for Area 7? Because wasn't
so that's hilarious. There's a little group of us that all shoot together, and one of the people in that group is John Sardina, and I think you've met John before.
Yeah.
But he's from that area, and he moved back to that area. And our plan was, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. We're going to shoot Area 7 together if I can get in. So they opened the registration. I don't live there. I'm not part of the area. And it's supposed to be 75% of Area 7 gets in first, and then the other 25% is for outsiders. So
Okay.
we both of us, they did the lottery. So both of us signed up, and he didn't get picked, and I did.
Oh no.
So I felt terrible. I was like, well, I'm gonna give you my slot, blah blah blah. And then we're like, I don't think it's gonna work like that. So I stuck with it. I was like, I guess I'll just go up and shoot it anyway. And then thankfully they opened it up, and now we're both squatted together, and we're gonna shoot together with his dad. So it ended up working out, but I don't know how I got in and he didn't.
Dude, his dad's a pretty good shooter.
Oh yeah. I think I've shot with him once or twice, and he
Cavalier.
beat me. So
yeah. Before he went back north, his dad
Yep.
came down and shot a few matches. That was impressive.
Yeah, he's pretty good. We did Delmarva together, and he beat both of us at Delmarva. So
Okay.
he was shooting open. I was shooting PCC. I had a terrible match at Delmarva, so I beat Larry though. He claims he had the flu.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
So, what about next year? Is next year going to be dampened if the ammo shortage continues? What's next year looking like for you?
Look, I don't like paying above 50 cents a round for 9mm, but I'm not going to go without shooting. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm going to shoot.
Nice.
Regardless. Okay. All right. So my last question is this. So you're a GM in meme production. What does your future meme look like?
I mean, I hate to break kayfabe, but like I don't really care about any of it. Like the stuff with Foley and all that other stuff, I don't really care. It's generating content for the channel.
Right.
I think it's funny. I post stuff that I think's funny. If it gets hits and people are into it, cool. If not, I really don't care.
Right.
It's all, my channel is all pro wrestling. So believe what you want. I'll trash PCC, and then the next video I post, it's me shooting PCC. I'll
Right.
trash flashlights, and the next video it's me shooting flashlights. So, I mean, people get so mad about it, whatever.
Yeah.
What got you into making all the memes? Was it just to generate content for your page?
No, I mean, it's always the pro wrestling background. It's I was in pro wrestling my whole life. Watching that stuff. All the catchphrases, all that stuff. I mean, the flat brim hats, the earrings, like it's a gimmick. It's all a gimmick.
It is.
I'm just putting on a show, man. so some people are in on it, and they kind of get the wink and the nod, and other people are like, I hate 357 souls. Blah blah blah. Hey, you got heroes and villains. So if I have to be the villain, whatever.
I guess you felt a little of the heat down at Two Gun.
Yeah. But I didn't start that though.
I know. It's all good.
Yeah.
Chris, you got anything more?
No. I'm gonna leave it as is because if I go back into wrestling, I'm done.
Yeah.
We'll be here all night.
Well, I had a great time, fellas. I 100% appreciate the invite to the show. I had a great time.
Absolutely. It was fun. We'll have to do this again sometime.
I look forward to it.
Definitely.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you again sometime.
All right, Dave, Chris, thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Good night. Yep. Bye.
You
All
too.
right, you too.
Bye. Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.